Hello and welcome to the Graham Box Kazuya video. This is where I'm going to talk about the Graham, talk about the system modifications and pieces that were built out so that way we can now play Kazuya like Smashbox. I was able to get my Smashbox fully replicated and built over to the Graham, which is one of the sole reasons why I swapped over to the Graham completely. A lot of other reasons. I'll go into that essentially. But one of the first things I want to talk about here is you'll see here on my desktop, I've got these three files here. So this is actually, I'm going to move it right down here so you can see it. I've zoomed in on my desktop here. This is the Graham configuration file essentially here. This is the default one that comes with it, and this is the Kazuya one that was built out for it. So what you do is you'll take this, you'll copy it, you'll then go into the folder. And once you get into the folder, you want to go into a folder here called SRC. We'll go into SRC, and then from there we go into modes. And you'll see that there's one here called Ultimate. So what you'll do is you'll take it, you will delete it, and then you will take the Ultimate Kazuya one, paste it there, and rename it to just be Ultimate. And then you'll go in and compile your code, and it'll have the new button functionality there, which I'll go over here in a second. I'll also include down there, including down below in the video, there will be a Google Drive link. It'll have the Ultimate profile for Kazuya built out with it, as well as the drag and drop file. So if you just want to hold the button down and then drag and drop the file on there and flash it with this firmware, you'll be able to do that as well. So I'll have both options there, so that way you can choose which way you want to go for it. And then once we get into that and get that taken care of, I'll go over the layout and how the buttons work and the changes. Okay, so this is the layout functionality that I use with my Graham. So like I was talking about, there's specific modifications. One of the things I will notate, this is, and down here when you connect to this website, which is the remapping IO that's built out for it, you do need to switch over to Ultimate mode. You have to be on Ultimate for this, or it will not work, essentially. So you'll notice that this is my layout. The green are the areas I've made my modifications to everything through. So when I play Kazuya, I don't use tilt stick. I use MX, which is a tilt modification value in Ultimate, which allows me to do tilts without needing to do it, because Kazuya has a tilt for every direction on this pad, so it's really difficult to do on box, so I use that to get my tilts out quicker. So I play with smash stick, actually, so I mostly just have an up smash and a down smash, because F smashes are very easy to do on box. I have my B button down here where my thumb is, in the lower left section, and then select is something that is rebound to a turnaround angle value. So it is a modifier that allows you to do turnarounds, essentially. I'll go over that in a video showcasing the modifications for it. But this right here is the bread and butter for everything, essentially. This is the Smashbox functionality that was built out. So left bumper is essentially a old mode functionality. It is completely rewritten. It is not a left bumper. So since a GameCube controller does not have a left bumper, in the code programming for this is rewritten to function like the Smashbox button. MY is the modifier that is also built, which is known as Tilt 3 on the Smashbox, and then the A button there for attack, essentially. So this right here is really the only thing that truly matters. Everything else you can set up how you wish and want. In my Smashbox guide, I kind of talk about everything, which the layout's just about to the same, except for this select button, which is something I'll talk about. That's the only change that's been made. Once you've gone through that, you hit save and upload. And like I said, this is on the Ultimate profile. You have to use the USB-C to GCC cable, so you cannot just plug it directly into a Switch dock. I do not know if this functionality will work, since when you plug it into the dock, it'll read it like a Pro controller. With this setup, we have it set up to function like a GameCube controller, which the left bumper and select button don't exist on a GameCube controller. So we were able to take the code and rewrite it. So now I'm going to go into it and kind of showcase some things with it. And then that's really it. And then if you want to go more into this to learn more about how to play the character on box, I have my box guide, and then I'll deep dive further into it for you. All right, so I'm not going to get into the deep dive with it. I've got it set up right here. You've got a hand cam with it, so that way you can see everything that I'm doing and I'm talking about essentially with this. One of the things I will notate, when you plug this in, you have to hit down B start in order to put it into Ultimate mode to use the profile. So by default, it runs melee. You cannot do this with the melee profile. I tried. You'd have to go through and do extra programming and coding. With this, it was built out into the Ultimate profile, so I'm going to hit down B start. I am now on my Kazuya profile. It's simple and quick. You just need to do that when you plug in.
Kazuya
I'm going to select Kazuya, and just for, I guess, principal purposes, I'm going to put Banjo on there. It is what it is. There's nothing personal to anyone that plays Banjo. So I'm going to talk about some things. Like I said, with certain functionalities, pieces are in there. We have quick electrics and crouch dashing. I'm just going to briefly touch on these, because if you want more info on it, I have my guide that literally the Smashbox guide touches on how to do all of this stuff, because this is one-to-one with what it functions with. So you hold the direction of your opponent, and you roll right here. You roll these two, which is old mode and tilt 3 essentially, with the button layout that I showed, and you get crouch dashes like this. And one of the things to notate too, when you're doing movement, is if you hit down back at the same time after you crouch dash, you can instant shield out of it. It's a little harder to get used to. It takes time, a lot of practice. Like I said, I'm not truly warmed up with things, so it takes me a little bit for myself. One of the other things is this button right down here, which is a modifier. So when you see me hit it, you'll notice that actually it goes, I walk backwards with it. You're probably like, well, why would I want to walk backwards? So the big thing with that is if you hit it with jump at the same time, which you know I have X and Y up here for jump. If you hit it at the same time, you get an auto turn. You get a turnaround aerial. Which, now I want to talk about the next thing here, which is electric. So electric when God Fist, I'm just going to briefly showcase it because the box guide goes into it. I just wanted to showcase the extra little pits for it to kind of show how it works. We just do a finger roll forward with these 3 buttons right here. Quick just piano roll. If you play piano, you'll probably be pretty good at this. Guitar Hero, another melody for it essentially. And if you get a down smash, that means you did the input incorrectly. But essentially, this is the method for it. I also will state, you know, these changes were made. I went through and worked with a person in the modding scene so that I could get this transition over. This wasn't anyone from the Gram team that helped me with it. I got assistance from Carvac, who's one of the head developers on the FOB software. My goal was essentially to transition from Smashbox to the Gram, mostly because of its size. I've taken my Smashbox's back there on the wall. You can see it. It's the red box there. It's probably where it's going to be now. It's probably retired at this point. I took that thing to 4 majors. It's been on multiple plane trips, day-long car rides, over 10, 15, 20 plus regionals, every local that I've ever gone to, and my back is killing me for it. I don't like being able to carry that thing around due to its weight. I now have the Gram. It's literally super thin. I can literally carry almost the whole setup in my backpack as well as the Gram now, and it still weighs less than my Smashbox alone for it. So this right here is something that I'm very happy about. It's taken me some time to get used to it. I'm still acclimating to it. On the Smashbox, I had about a 99% input correction rate with all the command inputs and everything along those lines. You know, going from there with it, it's just learning the new rhythm changes and timings for things, going from there with it. So, but overall, I would highly recommend the Gram. It's great. The team's been great for me. They above and beyond for customer support. Hopefully they stay around and keep pushing out their product, but I'll probably make some more stuff going over this. Maybe I make some more changes and see what I can figure out for it, but that's really it. If you want to know more about how to do all of this stuff and more tech and everything along those lines, take a look at my Smashbox guide. That's now compatible with this essentially. That's essentially more of like a universal box guide. So anyways, thanks for watching this. I hope you enjoy playing Kazuya the way I do, and peace out.